Hello everyone. It's James again. And today, I wanted to talk about something very important, along with giving you another update on my channel. And the topic and the update kind of links with my last video and go hand in hand. You see, when talking about narcissism and dealing with a narcissist, I and most others, not all, but most will say that if you can, and this is key to understand, if you can, go no contact with a narcissist. But if you can't at this moment, start to develop a plan so you at some point get yourself away from such a person or situation. I want to say that like 99% of you have been super supportive as to what has happened to me and this channel. And if you don't know what happened, YouTube removed my partnership program membership, which, in effect, removed my ability to generate revenue for my hard work. Well, there have been a small number, and I really don't even count it, because it was only a couple of people that seemed like they were here to stir up trouble. Talking about, James tells us to go no contact all the time. It's time he leads by example. And I know what you are going to say. James, don't listen to them. They are here to just stir up trouble. And you are 100% correct. But what can be learned from all of this is depending on your situation and legal ties. Just jumping up this very second, cursing the narcissist in your life out, and walking out of the door might not be the brightest idea. Now if you can just get up and walk out the door, and you will be okay, it's probably a good idea to do it. Or if you feel your life is in immediate danger, yes, by all means get out. But if you today realize, wait a minute, the person I married, or I'm tangled up doing business with is a narcissist, what you want to do is now make your actions around how to deal with such a person reflect that fact. And each action should hopefully get you closer to being free. And hopefully going no contact. And in some cases very low contact. Here's another example. You may work for a narcissist boss, or a job with a toxic work environment. It wouldn't be very good advice for someone to tell you to just up and quit. And it also wouldn't be such a good thing for you to let your temper get the best of you while you are there and you tell off someone you are working with, or telling off your boss. However, once you realize that the boss you work for is a narcissist, or the place you work at is toxic, daily start doing things that will bring you one step closer to being able to leave for a better work environment. And when you leave, leave with decency. Because the narcissist in our life, no matter it be a boss or family member, or dating partner or someone we are married to, they are just hoping we lose it and yell at them. Or we say or do something they can use in their favor to smear our name, and make another area for our life harder for us. When I was with Susie, I was seeing a therapist. That did do one thing for me that was right. And that was able to confirm Susie and my mother were and are toxic people. But his plan of action for me with Susie would have left me in a very bad situation. His plan was just for me to walk out with nowhere to go. Yet still legally tied to this evil woman in several different ways. Giving her the leverage to destroy my life. And she would have done it. So yes, I would be away from her. Living where I don't know. My car. And she would still be abusing me. Sounds real good. No thanks. And he kept saying. He thought I was scared. So forth and so on. And I told him. Yes. You are right. I'm scared. But not for the reasons you think. I'm not scared to lose Susie. Because I know she's never going to change. But I'm scared of having my life destroyed and being abused from her even if I'm not there. Now it's important to note. It's sometimes impossible to leave a toxic situation perfectly. That in many cases rarely happens. But you can in many or at least some cases leave in a good enough or acceptable situation. Simply because you planned and didn't make a rash choice. And guess what? I'm glad I listened to my gut. And not the therapist on this. Because eventually Susie got arrested. She was removed from the home. And things started to swing legally in my favor. Now regarding my mother. This is where my beliefs and limited contact come into play. I'm at a point in my life where my mother can no longer affect me. My mother is at a point in her life where health-wise, she's towards the end of her life. And her coherent abilities and state is very limited. And most of her flying monkeys are either in the same situation or they are dead. And the one or two people that check on her know she's a narcissist. They know it 100%. Just like I know it. And I do go and see and check on my mother. So I have limited contact with her. And like a few other people that talk about narcissism online will say, limited contact isn't for everyone. It's not. But no one can tell you that you must go no contact the second. Because though narcissistic abuse victims share many similarities, there are some differences there. Just enough to make each one of our situations unique to us. And for me, when the Bible says honor your mother and father, I don't believe it's talking about doing exactly as your mother and father says. Because later on Jesus talks about coming between relationships we might have with our mother and father. But what I believe it means is to be a decent person if you can. Don't treat them hatefully. Forgive them for the wrong they have done. And don't let the anger and pain you feel eat you alive. So as I've mentioned in a few videos in the past, I have limited contact with my mother. And I have forgiven her. Yes. What she did to my life hurt and at times still does hurt. But I have forgiven her. And she can no longer affect my life, so I have limited contact. Regarding my golden child narcissist brother, I have no contact. Why? Because he would be a complete drain on my life. And it would be one toxic argument after the next. No thank you. So no contact in that situation for me. So you see, each case is different. And you have to trust your gut. Or what us believers talk about being the message the Holy Spirit gives you deep inside. On how to proceed in life. Now, what is really going on with this channel? And what is the latest update? Well, the truth is, more than likely, while staying here, I'm probably going to move over to another platform. A platform that is very similar to YouTube that will allow me to generate revenue for my work. And though money isn't everything, it does help keep the show going, so to speak. And other things, as I mentioned before, have popped up in my life, where the earnings really helped me out considerably. But before I talk about the possible move, I want to talk briefly about what is going on with YouTube themselves. You see, YouTube is changing. And again, I wish I noticed this earlier. But I can't beat myself up over it. You see, about almost 2 years ago, I believe it was Coke, noticed their ads were running on a few really bad videos. Videos I think that didn't even have a lot of views at the time. So Coke got upset and pulled their ads from YouTube. And as a result, many other advertisers followed suit. Now it's important to note, many of these advertisers will still advertise on television where some of the worst things are shown. But that's another story. But what happened is, when all of these advertisers pulled their ads, that's when the PC culture really started to get in full swing. And YouTube started to rewrite their terms and rules, simply to keep advertisers. Instead of trying to have a rated G part of YouTube, and then an edgier part of YouTube where certain advertisers were okay with their ads being there. Well, when this problem first happened, many YouTubers noticed their money cut in half. Some even worse. And though I took a hit, I was still able to make enough to keep the channel going. And have some left over to be able to help out with the important and at times unexpected bills that would pop up in my life. Again, as I mentioned in the previous video, that I should have then Started plans to be up and running on another platform. It is what it is. I can't turn back the clock. And getting angry at myself won't help matters. But because of all of these changes. And now they just released another bot onto us, the creators. That basically is removing several content creators' revenue. Small and big. There are a lot of us that got hit. And more to come. And why is all of this happening in my opinion? Because YouTube, since they now have a big viewer base. They want to clear their platform of those that created that viewer base. To replace it with network television type programming that will bring in advertisers like Coke and the like back to YouTube. Because have you noticed the big networks that have channels on YouTube? They can talk about the worst kind of tragedies. And they don't have to be creative with their title to throw off YouTube. And they don't have to use a creative thumbnail to throw off YouTube. Nope. They can type the actual title of the tragedy in the title bar you see above the video. And the thumbnail is of the tragedy. Their ads run. And they don't appear to be in any danger of being thrown off YouTube. And that's because that's what YouTube now wants on their platform. And become streaming television services are now a hot thing. This cleaning up the platform. And bring in programming that advertisers have big money to spend. Is more and more a reason why this platform will slowly turn into one of those television streaming platforms. With maybe a handful of YouTube content creators that are 100% in line with YouTube's policies. But here's the thing. The shock of what is happening will settle down. And I think some creators will realize they aren't going to get anywhere with YouTube. And though they will still keep their content here and post here as well. Because for now it's super easy to search and find. They will start to migrate over to some of the other platforms. And as a result, these platforms will start to grow. Will they be as big as YouTube? Only time will tell. But either one of three things will happen. YouTube will see this, and if their viewership takes a hit in the next year, they might be willing to pitch an edgy part of YouTube where you can generate revenue to entice some creators to come back. Or they will simply go the way of streaming television. And they will thrive in that market. Or they will do neither and go out of business. I personally think it will be either the first or second thing that will happen. But in my case, I spoke with the forum's help at YouTube. They aren't YouTube employees. But they can answer questions that might help. And we came up with a few ideas that might help my situation here. Oh. I want to digress for a moment. If I don't get my partnership back, my last month's earnings, an entire month of my earnings, they, meaning YouTube, are going to keep it for themselves. And this is happening to all of us YouTubers that have been affected. Money people were planning on using for things they need. They aren't getting paid this month. But I'm sorry to digress. Myself and the help forum folks talked about possible things that could help me. But since they aren't employees of YouTube, they can't say for sure if these things will help or not. So I emailed the YouTube creator team again. The team that doesn't answer with a straight answer. But it is what it is. So I emailed them again, asking about the possible fix I talked over with the help forum. And would this be something that would be worth my time to do? They replied back ignoring the question and just repeated why I was removed from the partnership program. So I'm not expecting much to happen good there. If it does, that's a wonderful thing. If it doesn't, I'm planning on earning revenue for my work somewhere else. And I will have more information on that later. With that said, when I do move, I will more than likely still stay here for now at least. But what I ask of you, if you do visit me over where I move to, if you can create accounts and handles over there so you can be active on my channel there, like you are here, that would be a big help to that channel being a success. Because if we can start off the bat getting the same kind of daily views we are getting here for new videos, I think we will be okay. and on this other platform, though they have rules. At this time at least it doesn't appear to be as strict as YouTube. I should be able to talk about news stories. And demons are real. And all of that kind of stuff and not have a problem. Oh. And I want to say thank you all for supporting on Patreon. And those that upped your pledges. You know who you are. Because right now, you on Patreon are the only means of supporting this channel. You are it. And I do feel so bad. I am the type that doesn't like asking for money at all. Those that have known me on this channel for the past 10 years knows that's true. My Patreon is only maybe 6 months old. Give or take. So asking for money is something I hate doing. But I and this channel needs your help. And to those that are supporting this channel by the way of Patreon, I want to thank you from the bottom of my cartoon heart. You and your support really mean a lot to me. And if you find it in your heart to support this channel, you can do so by the way of Patreon. I might also look at other options as a way you can donate. But for right now, Patreon is the way to do it. Also please don't forget to subscribe. Because YouTube has overreached before. And I don't want to hurt the growth of this channel. We are just going to make sure we are also growing elsewhere too. Also, if you would like to support me on Twitter. I'm not a big Twitter guy. But have had to start using Twitter to attempt to get help from YouTube. I do understand they allow monetization there. I don't think they will be my primary place to upload videos. But I might do it. Just to see if I can build a secondary following there. If it works. Great. If not, I'm working on getting on the other platform I mentioned. But I will leave a link to my Twitter below. And I see some of you have already found me there. So thank you for that. With that said, the moral of all of this. Once you've identified what and who you are dealing with, start to plan. And move forward in a way where you are getting out of a toxic situation and into a situation where you can thrive and live your life. And that might look a bit different from person to person. With that said, I do hope your day was blessed. I will let you know more about my situation when I know more. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.